What is going on, YouTube? Welcome to the Living Freed channel. My name is Tyler Freed, and in this video, I'm going to be responding to the statement that the trucking industry is dead nowadays. Do I think it's dead? Do I think there's no opportunities in this industry? Would I recommend people get into trucking? Why am I making this video? Well, I know people are going to ask, why are you even making this video? Well, because on a previous video, which is where a lot of my content comes from, is me responding to comments. People will ask me questions, I'll answer questions. People will make statements like this guy made a statement that the trucking industry is dead nowadays. And I like to respond to my viewers, whether they're negative or they're positive. And to be clear, I really don't care what this person says. The reason I'm making this video is, again, because a lot of people who follow me are looking at getting into trucking, or they're new to trucking, or they're in it and they feel stuck and they don't really have a plan to get unstuck, meaning they're stuck in the sense of they're just working and living paycheck to paycheck. They're not getting ahead financially. So this is the perfect video for you. If you're somebody looking at getting into trucking or you're already in it, it doesn't really matter. You need to watch this video till the end, because I'm gonna kind of tell you how to make this a great long-term career. To most people, trucking's a terrible job. It's a terrible lifestyle. It's not good. But if you listen to what I say in this video, and again, stay tuned till the very end, you will know how to navigate in this industry and actually have success with it. So I appreciate all of you for being here, whether you're new or not new. Please like the video, sub to the channel, or dislike it if you don't like me. Either way, it helps grow the channel if you do that. And so I'm going to get right into it. So the person said, they stated that the trucking industry is dead nowadays. So I don't really know exactly what they mean by that. Do they mean that it's dead in the sense of for drivers, for driver pay it's dead? Do they mean it's dead in the sense of the freight market is bad? They weren't really that specific. And again, I'm responding to pretty much everybody who has this mindset. A lot of people have that pessimistic mindset when it comes to getting into trucking and making a long-term career out of it. So, is the trucking industry dead first and foremost? No, it is not dead. As an industry, trucking is what it's always been. Now, before this year, the last couple of years, we were in a freight recession, meaning freight volumes did decline for a couple years. I think we're out of that freight recession. I think we're in a normal freight market. I don't think we're in a boom market. I don't think we're in a recession. I think we're in a very steady market. And if you are in business for yourself in trucking, if you're an owner-op or you're a fleet owner or whatever, right now is a good time to really be expanding, and right now is a good time to be running hard, because you know it's not bad. It's not great, like I said, but it's not bad. You can make really good money right now if you get out and run. That's really for everybody. That's company, that's owner-op, doesn't matter. But if you're talking about the freight market, that's really only going to matter to people who own a truck or multiple trucks. That's who the actual overall freight market's going to affect. If you're a company driver and you're driving for a company that has contract freight, I mean, they're going to keep you moving. Now, it benefits you too. When freight's pretty good, it benefits you too, because your miles will be up. But do I think that overall, you know, maybe some companies are struggling, but do I think overall, if you're working for a decent company, that you can't get out there and make really good miles every week as a company driver, and that you can't make some decent revenue as an owner-op? No, it's pretty good right now, to be honest with you. Compared to last year, it's way better. And I'm leased on to Crete Carrier with my trucks, and it's a lot busier for this time of year. It's a lot busier this year than it was last year. Last year, for the early part of the year, it even slowed down at Crete. It did a little bit. I mean, I got the miles, but they weren't as consistent. This year's been really good. So I definitely see like an uptick in freight. I think it's improving. Like I said, I don't think it's boom time. I don't think it's a bust time. I think it's just going back to normal since we had the lockdowns and all that stuff that happened. Look, you know, a lot of people came into trucking, and I'm just going to get this out of the way. A lot of people came into trucking in 2020 through 2022. And they came in when everything got locked down and stimulus checks were passed out and a bunch of people spent money, and we had an artificial boom in trucking. And it's taken a few years since that artificial boom to wash out all of the people that were in this business. They started businesses and they just weren't ready to start a real business in trucking. And I think a lot of those carriers are going out of business, and most of them are honestly almost gone. And that's why the freight market's kind of normalizing again. And it's going to do that. In trucking, you're always going to have your boom and bust cycles, but that was an anomaly. Honestly, when has the government ever shut down the entire global economy and printed, $9 trillion in 2 years? That's never really happened. And that created an artificial boom in trucking that for some reason, people think we're going to go back to rates like that. We're not going to go back to those rates unless another scenario like that happens again. Then we're not. Do I think we'll have the boom times? Yes, but to go up to those levels, no. So if you're waiting on that, then yeah, trucking's dead compared to that. But right now, if you know what you're doing, you will make good money as an owner. If you have a debt-free business and you know what you're doing and you're willing to work, you should be making good money right now, to be honest with you. The market's not that bad. So that's that. Also, let's just talk about a career. That's why I said stay tuned till the very end. I wanted to talk about the macro first. Now the micro. The thing you should really be worried about is the micro. Because chances are, if you're watching this video, you're not somebody who even cares about the spot market or contract rates or any of that crap. You care about getting into trucking and making really good money and getting ahead financially. That's why you're getting into trucking. If you're watching this video and you're new to trucking, chances are you don't have a lot of money saved. You're probably in debt. You probably don't have a lot of savings. You don't own any investments. It doesn't matter what's going on in the macro environment. Your situation, you need to get into trucking, right? You need to get trained, get your license, get your experience, and then work your way towards a really good paying job, the best paying job you can get. Then if you want to go the business route, save up money and do that. So I'll go over the entire process that I tell everybody all the time. But if you're watching this video, it's not going to be dead to you if you have a plan. So number one, how is trucking not going to be dead for you personally on the micro level? It's not going to be dead if you come into it with a plan. What plan do you need to have? You need to have a plan for the division you want to run in. You need to know, what's my end goal with trucking? Do I want to be in dry van, reefer, flatbed, oversized load, car hauler, oil field work, construction work? What do I want to do? You need to narrow down what you want to do, and that'll tell you where you need to start. If you want to do oversized load or step deck freight, then you need to start at a flatbed company that trains you how to secure loads on a flatbed and do flatbed work. If you want to stick to dry van and reefer, you need to go to a dry van and reefer company. That's where you want to start. And there's many different companies you could start out with. But that's what you want to do. If you're somebody that's like, okay, I want to do, flatbed, and I want to be an owner operator in flatbed. So go get your experience as a flatbed driver, as a company driver, make really good money at that first, and then start thinking about, okay, maybe I'll buy a truck and become an owner operator in flatbed. You just got to figure it out. You got to narrow down. Long story short, you got to narrow down what it is you want to do. So many people start out in trucking and they start out at a dry van company and they're like, yeah, well, I really want to be doing, something else. Don't do that. If you know you want to do tanker freight or fuel hauling or whatever, it's common sense. Just start where you want to end up eventually. You need to start where you're working towards that end goal for your career. If you do that, if you come in and you do what other people don't want to do, here's what other people don't want to do. When it comes to general freight, most guys don't want to stick it out OTR. They want to get 6 months to a year and go local or regional. That's what they want to do. And I'm going to be real. If you're in general freight, there's not a whole lot of money in that. If you specialize, if you get like your endorsements, your hazmat, your tanker endorsement, stuff like that, you can make really good money and be home every weekend or every other weekend. And so if you want to make really good money and be home frequently, get your doubles, your triples, your hazmat, your tanker, that's the route to go with that. If you want to make really good money and you don't want to deal with all the headaches of your endorsements, or needing your endorsements, you can do general freight. But the best way to make money doing that, in my opinion, is to do either like a large regional area, and you could be home every other week doing that, or every weekend maybe, and make pretty good money. But the best way to do it is really OTR when you're in just regular general freight. Just because when you have a larger area to run in, when one area is bad, you can go to another area and, haul the freight in that area. It's nice. You have a lot more flexibility when you run the whole country versus one area. And then, of course, local's just a totally different type of trucking. But look, it doesn't matter. Just figure out what you want to do. Moral of the story, these are the things you need to figure out. Once you figure that out, though, you can figure out, okay, if I go get my, hazmat, for example, I can make $100,000 a year and be home every other week or every weekend or whatever. You just need to figure that out. Or, hey, I want to go work at Walmart. I need to get a couple years of experience, and then I'm going to go sign on with Walmart. That's a six-figure job. There's so many six-figure jobs out there. I mean, you work for Crete. If you work for Crete and you stay out, you can make $100,000 plus a year there. If you work for me, I only have a small little fleet, so I don't always have trucks available. But if you drive for me, you're going to knock out over $2,000 a week. You are. But there's plenty of great jobs out there. You just have to be willing to do what other people aren't willing to do. Either stay on the road longer, or be willing to stay on the road longer, get your endorsements, or specialize in something. Specializing is where a lot of really good money is in the trucking industry, 100%. That's for company drivers. Now, if you want to be an owner-operator, it's really the same thing. You got to narrow down, what division am I going to do it in? What's my business plan? What's my strategy? Okay. Now, once you figure all that out for your trucking career, now it's time to figure out the financial stuff. And I put this in every video, but I put it in every video because most people don't do any of this. So the number one thing you want to do is get out of debt. Before you think about investing in a truck, get out of debt. Get into your job, start making pretty good money, really good money, budget your money, and pay off all of your debt. Once you are debt free, then go and save up for an emergency fund. I always recommend 6 months worth of living expenses. So add up all your bills for the month, multiply that by 6. That's how much you should have, plus being debt free. In a savings account, you should have at least 6 months worth of living expenses, and get a high yield on that money. Put it in a money market, put it in a high yield savings account. But the point is it needs to be liquid so that you can cover any unforeseen expense that you might have. Then above that 6-month emergency fund and being debt free, now is time to start thinking about, do I want to buy a truck? If so, how much money do I need to have to do that? And I'm going to just be clear in this video. I recommend, because I'm doing it and this is how I've done it, if you're going to buy a truck, buy the truck cash, and then above that, have about a $20,000 to $30,000 emergency fund when you start out. Don't buy a truck that does not come with an extended warranty, at least on the major stuff like engine and after treatment system. Don't buy a truck unless you have that. At least get a 2 to 3 year warranty on that truck, and have a good $20,000 to $30,000 cushion above the purchase price of that truck. If you do that, you will sustain yourself in all the ups and downs of the trucking market. You will sustain yourself through repair bills, all the stuff that comes up. You will get through that when you are set up in that type of situation. You will. So yeah, that's that. So if you're going to be an owner-op, do that. So, but don't do that until you're out of debt, you have that emergency fund, and then above that, use that money to go start your business if that's what you want to do. Okay, and then you got to decide, do you want to get an authority? Do you want to be leased on somewhere? That, again, you just got to think about your plan and what you want to do. I have videos about that. Go back and watch those videos if you want to hear me talk about that. And I have videos about that. But then, or if you don't want to invest in trucking, you need to, the moral of the story is once you're out of debt and have an emergency fund, you need to get your money to work. You need to get your money into an asset or assets that pay you, and they pay you while you sleep. They pay you while you are not driving. You want to do that as well. You don't want to just invest in trucks or, just have a job. You want to take that money. I recommend low-cost index funds. Look into the book called The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins. That's a book I recommend pretty much everybody all the time when it comes to stock market investing. Read that book. Do that. You won't need to focus on anything else. Just focus on your job, do what that book says, and you will retire a millionaire. 100% you will. And then, or you could save up if you don't want to invest in stocks or trucking. Save up, buy real estate, save up for your first house, put a good down payment on your first house. And then after you get that first house, live in it for a couple years, keep saving up, and then buy your first rental property and start building a real estate portfolio. That's also possible. Now, a lot of people are going to say, oh, none of this is possible. You can't do this. You can't do that. Well, if you listen to those people, you will get into trucking like most people, and you will quit within the first year or two, and you'll get nothing out of it. You'll make decent money, but you'll blow all of it, and you'll end up with nothing, and you're going to be that person saying it's a scam and it's not worth it nowadays, right? It's just something you shouldn't do, right? If you're not going to create a plan and stick with it and follow that plan, don't do trucking. Don't do it. Because like I said, you'll see the country, you'll make really good money for a while, but the money will get old. When you're making the same amount of money and you're not putting away, you're not growing your investments, you're not getting something out of it, you're eventually going to quit. You're going to end up like 90% of people that get into trucking, you're going to quit within the first year or two. That's pretty much the turnover rate in trucking. And that's what's going to happen. Don't be that statistic. If you're going to spend time on learning a job, learning a career, make the most out of it. Make the most out of it. So that's my video for today. Is the trucking industry dead nowadays? It depends. To end the video, it depends on your plan and what you do with it. When life gives you lemons, you either make lemonade or you throw the lemons away and do nothing with it. And trucking is no different. So that's my video for today. God bless. Thank you all for watching, and peace out.